A very good day and a greetings from me, Tisha Dorisami. So today we are going to present to you about importance of critical thinking among undergraduate students. Before we begin, let me make a brief introduction about our team members, which consists of 5 people. The first one would be Nadia Atira binti Abdul Rahim. The second one would be Abrana Manikam. The third and fourth would be Nishalini Kanesan and Patricia and Martin. There are few components of introduction, and the first component would be about background of study, which would be explained by Nishalini, so I'll pass it to her.
Thank you, Tisha. The background of the study is critical thinking skill is one of the most important skills that a student must acquire in university education as it is the foundation skill for effective decision making. Nowadays, it is very challenging to produce graduates who excel in both hard and soft skills, which is set as a basic requirement by many employers. Unfortunately, most of the graduates are not aware and understand the importance of critical thinking skills. These skills are important for not only to get a good job, but it is ultimately useful in all areas of life.
The next would be about statement of problem. Based on our research, the problem statement of this research is that the soft skill of the undergraduate students is still very inadequate. According to a survey on the level of critical thinking among the undergraduate students, the students are still unavailable to use critical thinking in their institution or in real world situation after 4 years of studying. Although students do have an innate aptitude to think critically, critical thinking abilities can be taught and strengthened with the right methods and proper direction by lecturers or teachers in their studies. Besides that, there are four main objectives of the study. The first one would be to understand the significance of independence and critical thinking among undergraduate students. The second would be to assess the significance and applicability of argument and ideas of the students. The third would be to understand if the students have the capability to discover contradictions and logical mistakes. And the last one of the objective of the study would be to understand if the student recognize the connection between the ideas. There are four main research questions that are used to research about the critical thinking among the undergraduate students. The first question would be, are students confident enough in their capability or their ability to develop independent learning skills? Are lessons designed to promote students' independence? And the third question would be, how does the students' critical thinking helps to solve a problem? And the fourth research question would be, do students recognize the connection between the ideas with using critical thinking? The last component of the introduction would be the significance of the study, which would be passed to Nisha again.
The last component of the introduction part is the significance of the study. Now, the significance of the study. First significance is that critical thinking skills enhance the creativity and curiosity. Students who practice critical thinking will develop a sense of curiosity of whatever is happening around the student. The curiosity leads the student to think out of the box and start to analyze about the problem. This in turn improves their creativity. They may also solve the problems by coming up with new ideas. Second is boosting career prospects. Nowadays, critical thinking skills have become a demanding ability by many employers. When students possess these skills, there are high possibilities to get a good job, which will boost their career prospects. Third, critical thinking skills promote self reflection. It helps students to reflect and understand their point of views. Besides, it allows the students to justify their decisions and it also serves as a tool of self evaluation. Fourth significance is it prepares students to educate themselves for the rest of their lives. After graduation, students must learn to face their real life challenges which they are not familiar with it at all. So, when the students have the ability to think critically, it will help them a lot in everyday life to make the best decision by understanding the implications and consequences that they might face. The final significance is that critical thinking skills enhance the problem solving abilities. When the students are facing a problem, they can think out of the box and find for the best solution to solve the problems without expecting or even depending others to solve the particular problem, as they can think critically. So these are the significance of the study. Now I will pass to Patricia for the methodology part.
Thank you so much, Nishalini. Now I will continue with the part 2 of the presentation, which is the methodology for the importance of the critical thinking among the undergraduate students. Now I will present the methods that used in this research that we are carried out. There are several components that we are going to discuss, which is the place of the data collection, sample, an instrument or platform that used for the data collection, and also the research procedure. Now I will present the first component of the methodology, which is the place of the data collection. The data was collected among the undergraduate student at KPJ Healthcare University College Nilai Negeri Sembilan, Malaysia. The next component of the methodology is the instrument of the data collection. There are many types of sampling methods that could be used, such as online surveys, questionnaires, and other forms of data collection, which shows the only numerical information. Hence, in this research, the data was collected by conducting online surveys in the Google form. The next component of the methodology will be the sample of questionnaire. The 4 pictures shows the screenshot of the online survey in the Google form of our research, and there is also the link for online survey in Google form. The range that we used in the online survey in Google form are never to always, which is from 1 to 4. By conducting the online survey in the Google form, we are able to achieve our objective of the studies. Now I will pass to Nadia to present the next component of the methodology.
Thank you, Patricia. There are a few steps to follow in order to create a systematic research. The first one is choosing the topic of the research. The topic must be interesting, but at the same time, it has a huge amount of information. For this research, the topic that has been chosen is importance of critical thinking among undergraduate students. Before going deeper with information research about the topic, we need to do some basic research about the topic, whether the topic has huge amount of information from the books, dictionaries, or internet. Next, we need to ask people's reaction for our research. For example, our group has created a Google form and distribute to the people. There are a few questions in the Google form, and one of the examples of the questions is, are the critical thinking skills enable you to think more logically and deeply? We also need to evaluate the quality and authority of the information that we obtain, because the lecturer is expecting that his students will provide them a clear and trustful information. Important details of the information, such as the author, the link of the information, or the title, must be jotted down and put under one document so it will be easy to access.
My very warm greetings to our English module lecturer and my fellow groupmates. My name is Abarna and I will be presenting on the conclusion for our research. With that said, as what Tisha has mentioned earlier, the objective of the study are: firstly, to comprehend the importance of autonomy and critical thinking in undergraduate students. Secondly, to evaluate the significance and applicability of the students' arguments and ideas. Thirdly is to determine whether or not the students are capable of detecting disparities and logical errors. And finally, to determine whether or not students perceive the connection between the ideas. Current study findings imply that more work needs to be done to improve the standard of critical thinking ability among Malaysian undergraduates. If Malaysian undergraduates continue to be rote learners with poor critical thinking skills, despite the Malaysian Ministry of Higher Education's efforts to raise the bar of critical thinking in the curriculum and promote assessments with an emphasis on higher order thinking, the country's future is jeopardized, as Malaysia will lack competitiveness if its working population lacks the skill set to face the demands of the digital age. Thus, the Malaysian University must operate well in maintaining its current position as the most vital producer of precious commodities for the country by making radical improvements that will ultimately boost the performance and ability of critical thinking among undergraduates by establishing an educational system that encourages lifetime learning that will yield graduates who can fulfill the needs of the international job market in a proficient manner. The university administration should re-evaluate the efficacy of the current curriculum and teaching practices, particularly those corresponding to teaching, learning, and development of critical thinking. Future studies should concentrate on the association between undergraduates' ability to think critically and English language proficiency, which will require a public proficiency test. Thank you, and that is all from me.
In the limitation of study of this research, it is the lack of previous studies on topic and limited access to the data. The informations that are available in the internet is too much, but not all of the informations have a qualified authority. Then we need to qualify the quality and authority of the informations. Next, the number of the responses from people are not too high. When we are distributing the Google Forms, not all of the people wants to fill in the form and they will ignore them. Then we will not have high amount of responses for data. Therefore, we will have difficulty in data analysis at the end of the research. I think that's all from us, and thank you so much.